How you doing? Welcome back to Bleacher Talk, the only talk show on Bleachers. I'm your host, Not Franz, and today's guest, he's vegan. He's been his whole life. Get over here, Dhruva. Get over here, buddy. Get over here, man. What up?
What up, what up?
How you doing? Have a seat, have a seat. I'm gonna mic you up, bro.
All right.
Here we go. Put that right there. Bang. Oh,
It's probably on this side.
the other side, right here. Boom. There we go.
Boom.
All right. Here we go. Can you tell the viewers about yourself a little bit?
All right, my name is Dhruva. Technically, I haven't been vegan my whole life, but I've been vegetarian my whole life. Never eaten meat since I've been born. Some of the things, and then about 3 years ago, I went vegan. 2-3 years ago, I went all the way vegan. Haven't looked back since. And should I just get into talking about it, or?
Of course, man.
All right.
Tell people about what vegan entails and all that, and what it entails.
So to me, growing up, I was vegetarian due to my religion. I grew up a branch of Hinduism, and so it was against my religion to eat meat, so that's why I didn't eat meat. And then at about like 15, 16, I got a little bit less religious, but I just still those views held strong in my point of view, in my mind. And then at about 21, I realized, I kind of thought to myself, why don't I eat meat? And it hit me, I don't want animals to be harmed. And then from there, it moved really into realizing, what other, just because you're not eating meat, what else goes into things to get, what goes into getting your food to your plate, and realizing if I'm not okay with how my food gets to my plate, I shouldn't be okay. If I wouldn't be willing to do it myself, I shouldn't let someone else do it for me and just not think about it. So that's why, I went all the way vegan.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. So when you started, how'd you make you feel? Because I heard it makes you feel a lot lighter and all that.
I'd say definitely. Especially giving up dairy, and my joints felt a lot better. I actually lost probably like 15 pounds. I kind of didn't even want to lose weight. I lost about 15 pounds. It took me a while actually to understand how to maintain my weight going vegan. Because I ate a lot of milk, a lot of cheese, a lot of whey protein. So I definitely felt a lot better. But actually, because I know some people, they're worried about losing weight, especially guys. I will say, it was a challenge for a short period of time. But once I learned about it and did more research about nutrition and how to, I got my weight back while still feeling slimmer and leaner, and my joints feel a lot better. So I definitely feel good.
Now, for a guy who's gone vegan, how do you get your protein? Because that's a big thing, and people will be, oh, no protein. But how do you get your protein?
Okay, no, that's one thing actually I definitely want to talk about, because no, I mean, and since I've been like 5 years old, man, I've heard that, oh my gosh, where do you get your protein? And honestly, now they have like 1,000 fake meats. But growing up, there was no like meat alternatives. Like when I was a kid, like now, people who are going vegan right now, there's so much in the store to make this so much easier. But growing up, the first thing I think people need to understand is that a lot of Americans, the average American, consumes more protein than they need. But that being said, if you are looking for protein, you got beans, like beans and rice complete a complete branched chain amino acid profile, which that's something sometimes people look at, not just protein, but making sure you have a complete branched chain amino acids profile. And if you mix like black beans or kidney beans and rice, you'll get that full profile. And there's a lot of vegan meats that have a lot of protein. You can go get fake meat. It's a lot of like gluten or soy based, but if you get really quality ones, it'd be like pea protein based. And then beyond that, there's really protein in everything. And people, like, if you go home and look at your pasta, there's like 8 grams of protein per serving of pasta. Brown rice, oatmeal, beans, edamame. There's protein in so many things. Honestly, it's something, I used to worry about, but it's honestly something I don't even think about. And the other thing is, especially now, there's a lot of like vegan athletes, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, and they get their protein and they're extremely active, and it's not as hard as people might think, as long as they're willing to do a little bit of research. And you only really need to do that research because our whole lives, they teach you, the pyramid, and they really push down a certain idea of what you need to eat to be healthy. But if you just take a little bit of time, it's really not that hard.
Of course. Now, Like, when you say research, like, what do they have to research to like start going vegan or vegetarian or however they want to do it? So
I mean,
how do they do that? Start off.
I would personally say, like, for me, when I went vegan, it took me almost 6 months to totally give up. I mean, that's one thing is I think no one should get down on themselves if it takes more. You know what I mean? You shouldn't just be like, well, tomorrow I'm going to give up meat, or you know what I mean? 'Cause, again, for me, it wasn't a problem, but like for cheese, you know, I love cheese. So I think being okay with making slow steps, like realistic slow steps, like I don't think it's good when I feel like sometimes people view like veganism as like a fad diet, and I think it kind of hurts veganism as a whole, and I don't think it should be looked at as a fad diet. It's like a lifestyle. I think, you know, easy steps would be giving up red meat. I think they're the worst for the environment, they're the worst for your health, and you know, so you know that's one thing that'd be easier to give up. So first give up, you know, like pork and beef, you know, and that'd be like a first step for some people. And then, you know, once they do that, maybe if you want to continue, you know, maybe give up chicken, then give up fish, and then dairy. I don't know, I think it's definitely, you know, take steps, and again, it's all about your goals. I mean, especially, you know, if you're trying to lose weight, if you just go vegan and you eat fresh fruits and vegetables, I mean, the rest will take care of itself. If you're worried about actually, you know, maintaining weight, especially if you're a guy, or even if you're a girl, you want to maintain and build muscle, especially if you want to build more muscle, I would say the number one thing is you have to realize that as most vegan food is it's a higher volume and lower calories. So you just need to eat more. It's not necessarily you need to do anything crazy. You just need to make sure you're eating more. And then the final thing is, so I know a lot of people, it's easy to start eating fake meat, which there's nothing wrong with it, but you need to make sure you're also eating fruits and vegetables and real food, because I mean, that vegan meat, it's got protein, but if you're giving up real meat for the vegan meat and you're still getting your protein, but you're not getting all the nutrients and, you know, as much of that as you need, when you really, I mean, you kind of just go into the same boat as if you ate meat. I mean, you really should make sure you're eating real food, veggies, you know, stuff like that.
Let's say a new vegan were to meal prep for a week. What meals should they prepare for each day?
For each day, okay. So for breakfast, I think an easy one, either chia seed pudding or oatmeal. I don't know if anyone knows how to do that. Just almond milk, chia seeds at night, put in a little mason jar, whatever you want. Strawberries, maple syrup, sweetener, whatever you want. Oatmeal is pretty self-explanatory. That'd be like a breakfast. I'd switch those up almost every other day. You don't need to mix it up that much. I mean, if you want, you can learn how to make like a vegan pancake or something like that, but that'd be an easy breakfast. Lunch, when I meal prep, so I'll probably do one day, like right now I have like mashed potatoes and lentils, so that's my carb, my protein, and in the lentils I'll put some veggies.
What's lentils for people that don't know about it? Because I don't know what they are.
Okay, lentils, it's like a really small bean. You've definitely had it, you just don't realize you've had it. It's like a really small bean, you can turn it into soup. If you cook it thicker, it's kind of a stew, very high in protein and iron. And then I'll make like a thick stew with it, and then I'll add just, you know, some peppers, jalapenos, you know, basic peppers, some celery, some carrots. For my veggies, that's the protein. The next day I'll do something like, I'll do like the vegan chicken, I'll do that, and then I'll do some, especially on like if I'm trying to cut, I'll do that, some broccoli, some arugula, and then maybe a little bit of brown rice. And then next day I'll do maybe like a sweet potato, and then I'll usually do like a vegan burger, like 4 vegan burgers, but instead of bread, I'll just use the sweet potatoes, the carbs on the side, some vegan burgers. Gardein has really good vegan stuff.
So you said no bread. Why is that?
That's just me. I mean, I'll eat bread too, but when I'm meal prepping, I just feel like the bread will get soggy, so I'll just do it on the side. I mean, if I'm at home and I'm just cooking, I mean, I'll do a bread. I'll eat that, but no, I mainly if I'm meal prepping, that's kind of what I'll do. And then, I mean, to be 100% honest, I meal prep sometimes, and I'm, you know, trying to train. As a whole, I'll just pack up any food. Pasta, I'll do pasta one day. I think it's, yeah, carbs aren't bad for you. I don't think so.
Now, for those that, because people say, oh, going vegan is too expensive. Thoughts on that, and like what can you say about that? Because
okay, I mean that's one thing. You know, it's interesting. I mean, going vegan can be expensive if you're trying to eat all fake meat, or if you're trying to eat, if you go to Whole Foods. But I mean, again, most of what I eat, it'll be lentils, which, I mean, you can buy a bag of lentils, which could feed you for 2 to 3 days for like $1.80. Then you know, black beans, kidney beans, The 78 cents a can. I mean, I know rice is ridiculous. I mean, you go buy a 5-pound bag of rice for like $10. That could literally last you for 2 years. So, I mean, I think it's really depending on where you go. I mean, if you go to Whole Foods, you could end up spending a lot of money, but you go to farmer's market to get your vegetables and you rely mainly on beans and rice and stuff like that. It's honestly almost cheaper than eating anything else.
Now, going vegan, because like as you said, it's a lot. I wouldn't say like a lot of work, but it's more effort.
It is, yeah, it is effort, for sure.
Because it's kind of hard to like keep track and balance of everything you eat, you know, and like you want to count the calories. But how do you stay positive and like put the effort in to be vegan all the time?
Okay, I mean, again, for me personally, yeah.
It's easy, yeah.
For me, it's easy. But again, I understand that for me, like giving up cheese, the example I think I could use best is giving up cheese. It took me about 6 months. So for me to completely, because at first I stopped buying cheese for my house. Yeah. But if I was out, I'd still eat pizza or something. And then that took about 2 months. And then I kind of gave it up. But then the hard part is when you drink. If you drink and you have a craving for a food you used to like, so if you go out, say you're trying to be vegetarian, you go out, it's 2 in the morning, you're leaving, and you're really hungry, and you drive by like a Chick-fil-A, and you're like, man, I want Chick-fil-A. And that's kind of what happened to me, what took that beginning time.
But it's closed though. No,
no, yeah.
No, I'm joking.
But, yeah, it's Sunday, man. No, but, and then honestly, I think that it's only really hard depending on who you live around. So I think that's a hard part. So if you live with people who eat meat every day, it's gonna be really, really hard to give that up.
That's true.
But I mean, again, and this is how I think of it. I don't think of it as a diet. I mean, I don't think it needs to be a diet. I mean, I have cheat meals. I don't live the healthiest lifestyle. I mean, I try to live healthy, but I mean, I'll drink beer. I'll eat a whole bag of chips some days. You know what I mean? If I'm feeling it, like it's more about treating it like a lifestyle, and you eat your meals, you eat what you want. There's tons of vegan ice cream brands. I know a lot of people really love ice cream that are really good. I mean, go get Ben & Jerry's. Almost every flavor they make a vegan version.
That's awesome, man. That's good to hear.
I will say the hardest thing is the vegan cheese isn't that good. I'm just being like, I'll be fair. The ice cream's really good. The cheese isn't that good. So it's definitely hard. But I think the number one thing is look at it. Don't look at it as a diet. Look at it as a lifestyle that you're doing slowly and changing and making changes for over time.
My next question, like, is there any stereotypes that you want to get off like your chest right now about?
Okay, so that's,
if you want to talk about that.
That's one thing I think is super big. Okay, so first of all, now again, I'm obviously doing this video about veganism, but like, I don't bring it up unless it's a necessity. Like someone's offering me food and I'll be like, oh man, I can't eat that. They're like, why? And I'll say it, but I think there's this thing that vegans always bring it up. But I think a lot of that is like, if I were to go, like, if someone knows I'm vegan and you come to my house and I make sausages, right? Yeah. Sausages and potatoes, they're vegan sausages. If I tell you, hey man, we got sausages and potatoes, most people's first reaction is like, what, you made sausages? I thought you were vegan. But then if I make vegan sausages, I mean, they were vegan, but if I say, hey, I made vegan sausages, you're like, well, why do you have to say they're vegan? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think there's that sort of catch-22. And then the other thing really is I feel like people have this feeling that, you know, vegans are really judgmental. Yeah. And that's something I definitely want to talk about. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't judgmental vegans, but there's people of every, you know, people who want to judge will find reasons to judge. And that being said, I've been vegetarian my whole life, never eat meat, and I've never once told anyone, hey, you need to give up meat or you need to stop eating meat. But man, I've had, and I'm not exact, over 100 people tell me, dude, why are you vegan? Why are you vegetarian? Or why don't you eat, you know, why don't you eat meat? Where do you get your protein, dude? Or they'll be like, dude, just try meat once. And they'll hand it to me. And again, especially because I didn't eat meat over a religious thing. I mean, people just think it's kind of a joke, but it's like the idea of just, I would never go up to someone who's like a strict Jew and, you know, hand them a piece of bacon. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, people don't understand. And again, I've never once done that. So I think that's a huge misconception. And then the other part of that is, I feel like especially with men, there's this feeling that it's emasculine. It's not masculine to be vegan. Yeah. And I mean, I even had that when we went to that party. Shit, the Brianna's brothers. Yeah, it's but no, I know. But I'm just saying, when we went to a party, you know, I've had people be like, "Oh my God, you're vegan. What a pussy!" And it's like the idea to base your masculinity off of the food you eat,
Yeah.
in and of itself is so unmasculine. Like if you don't feel masculine unless you're eating a certain food, I mean again, it's a joke.
I feel like for you know what I mean, like treating your body like a temple, you know what I mean, like doing what's right for you is pretty masculine, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Not caring what other people think, you know? And like it takes a real man just to do you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, like, not care, but
no,
like,
yeah.
it's just food you eat, you know what I mean? Like it's healthy and it's good for your body, so like.
And that's something I would like to say, going beyond veganism, just into health in general. I've just noticed, I mean, you watch so many TV shows and you'll see like the husband has high blood pressure, but he's only eating healthy because his wife's making him eat healthy. And we're not even going into veganism yet. I mean, it's just pure, like, you know, I just think it's that, but it's just that stereotype that it's not masculine to care about your health. And I mean, and I think that's a terrible message that we're sending out. That, you know, if you're a man, you don't care, you eat whatever, you don't care if you, I mean, then you have guys dying of heart attacks at like 40, 30 years old. And I don't know why there's that stereotype that unless your wife's making you do it, you're not going to be healthy.
Of course.
And yeah, no, that's and again, going back into athletes, I think veganism, it's definitely growing from when I was little. But I mean, you have so many athletes. There's bodybuilders that are going vegan. You know, basketball players, a couple NFL players that are going vegan. Some strongmen that are going vegan. So I think they just realize that the long-term value of eating healthy, and again, whether it's vegan or you're just giving up certain things, I think people need to look into that a lot more.
Of course. And like I feel like the media, I won't say the media, but like the message that we see on TV, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, eat meat, it's good for you, strong.
No,
but
yeah.
Like, it's not enough vegan commercials, you know, that we're getting, you know, to like help treat our bodies right.
Well, yeah, I agree 100% because that's one thing. I feel like if there was a vegan commercial, you know, the first thing would be like, why is that getting pushed down my throat? You know what I mean? If someone saw a commercial pushing veganism, a lot of people's reaction would be like, why are you pushing veganism down my throat? But I'll see 10 Hardee's commercials in 30 minutes of watching a TV show. And then even beyond TV, you have literally, you know, I'm not saying the government like I'm a conspiracy theorist, but they set out a food, you know, pyramid or whatever, they keep changing it. And they're really pushing, you know, meat, and that's one thing, you know, meat and dairy is heavily subsidized by government. That's just, it's a fact. They're subsidized.
Question: have you seen What the Health?
Yes.
Yeah, so like,
you guys, yeah, exactly. You watch What the Hell? I mean, yeah. So really quick, now you brought that up, 3 like Netflix videos. I think that if people want to watch that are could be really good. It'd be What the Health. Oh man, they made another one. Shit, same guy. 2 of them are made by Leonardo DiCaprio, and I think they're really good because they don't focus on showing like blood and gore. They're not like a shock, because there are some vegan movies that are just based on showing you like shocking images, which I don't think is necessarily a good strategy. You know, I mean, the stuff is out there, it's true,
it's
but
based on facts and whatnot.
But What the Health is a really good. And then Forks Over Knives. It's What the Health and Forks Over Knives is a really good one, and oh man, there's another one. It's about the environment. Same guy as What the Health, but there's another one. If you go on Netflix, if you look up those 2, you'll definitely come across it. And it talks about the environment. It talks about health. It's you know, real statistics that, you know, really go undercover.
Of course.
In a lot of issues.
And like as you said, like stats don't lie, you know. Like,
no, yeah, and like we were talking about right before, you know, some things people don't realize is, you know. And this is another thing where I think, especially if depending on why you're going vegan, it could be for health, for, you know, ethical reasons, but especially if you're doing it for like health and the environment, because you know it's a huge impact, especially red meat. I think one thing to remember is like the way I try to explain it is like, not everyone can ride a bike to work every day.
Of course.
But like you don't need to start a Hummer just to go check your mail. You know what I mean? So even if you're not the kind of person you're like, you know, I couldn't go vegan, you still should just understand that meat is bad for the environment. Like this is a fact, you know, red meat, they're number 1 cause of deforestation. It's like almost as much methane and carbon dioxide are released in like animal waste as from cars, you know what I mean? So if you can just, you know, again, you don't need to be the person to ride their bicycle to work, but you know, maybe don't eat red meat 4 times a day, maybe a week, maybe do it once a week and eat, you know, white meat 4 times a week and then go vegan 1 or 2 days a week. You know what I mean? Just understand that small if the whole world could just make small changes on that, it could really, really help the environment. And I think that's something, again, depending on why you're going vegan, I think if it's for the environment or for your health, you don't necessarily need to give it up in a day. You could just be like, hey, I'm gonna switch from, instead of eating a steak, I'm gonna eat, you know, white chicken, which again is healthier and it takes up less space and resources to create.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. So any more thoughts on veganism, like, or like body stats on health, like for the body or anything?
A couple final things. I mean, just again, there's some, again, if you want to check someone out, so some vegan bodybuilders, I guess you could look up, is Nimai Delgado. He's on Instagram. He's an IBF pro vegan bodybuilder. He's been a vegetarian his whole life, vegan the past like 4 or 5 years. Tori Washington, who he actually lives really close to here, Rastafarian, been vegan his whole life. And I actually got a chance to meet him at the Vegan Fest in Boca. Those are two guys I would definitely looking them up, seeing, you know, what they've achieved. They're both big as shit. And then the other thing is just, I'd say almost like a closing remark is, you know, whether or not you're gonna go vegan or, you know, not go vegan is just think about, and this isn't even just this, but just think about where your food comes from, and or not even just your food. Actually, that's one. I'm so sorry I got cut off. But one other thing is, for me, it's more than just food. It's a lifestyle. Yeah. So, you know, right here I've got my shirt, "Be kind to every kind." So, you know, I wore it for this, but it's about, you know, how a zoo's treating their animals. You know what I mean? It's not just about what you eat. You know, if you're supporting, you know, even like something like Sway, you know, I mean, I don't know, but zoos or, you know, just animal treatment in general, it can go across. It doesn't have to be just what you eat. But going into that is just, again, even if it's not veganism, it's just, I think people should think about what they're using, what they're putting in their bodies, and think, am I actually okay with this full process? And that goes to your shoes. I mean, this is a whole nother subject, but, you know, people making shoes in Taiwan for, you know, 30 cents a day that you're wearing, you know what I mean? Just think, if I saw what I'm consuming, eating, whether eating, if I saw what I'm consuming from when it starts to when it gets to me, would I be okay with everything that's happened for that to get to me? And I think that's just something that people need to think about as a broader term, is, am I okay with what's going on behind the scenes? And if I'm not okay with it, do I really want to be the kind of person that just doesn't think about it and thinks, well, I don't have to see it? You know what I mean? And again, not just food or even just veganism, is as a whole, I feel like, you know, you don't want to be one of those people who hides behind their beliefs of, I don't have to see it, so I don't have to think about it. Yeah. I think you should live life consciously, live life thinking about the decisions you're making.
Nice. Yeah. That's very wise. Right now we're finishing up. Any last words or anything?
Nothing really. I mean, I would say the only thing is, I know I just talked about it, but hopefully you don't think, you know, vegans are judgmental. You know, it's something that can help the environment, help your health, help animals from suffering. And again, whether or not you're gonna go full vegan or just give something up, or even if just, you know, like a meatless Monday every once in a while, it's just, you know, something that people, I think, should think about with an open mind, as opposed to just immediately reacting aggressively to it. Just think about it, do your own research, you know, realistic research. You know, don't just argue it with, you know, because I know how people just be like, well, bacon tastes good. I mean, whether it is or doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, at least just try to, you know, come up with, you know, a legitimate, you know, just
like substance behind it.
Yeah, substance. You know, whether or not you're ever, even if you never have one vegan meal in your life, I think just take time to research things and, again, live life consciously and actually think about the decisions you're making.
And one thing is to, like, keep an open mind about things, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Expand your mindset, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. A lot of people, you know, they won't even try vegan meat. You know what I mean? Just at least, you know, I'm not saying you're gonna love it. I'm not saying you're gonna go vegan, but just, again, be open to trying things, you know? And as a whole, be open to like open-mindedly discussing and talking about things and trying things.
Of course. Well, Drew, thank you for coming on the show.
All right, thanks for having me.
I'm gonna unplug this mic right here. Right here. Boop, bop. And have a great day. Thank you for coming on the show, all right?
Thank you, man.
No problem, bro.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
All right, now we gotta do some pictures.